Welcome to Sailing Moonlight, where I dive deep into the timeless beauty of classic wooden boats and seafaring adventures. I'm Chris, and today I have something interesting to share with you all. But before we set sail, grab a mug of your favourite brew, settle into a comfortable chair, and get ready for an incredible journey restoring and then eventually sailing the one and only Sarah Ann. Now let me introduce you to the star of the show, the magnificent Sarah Ann. She's a small and yet breathtakingly classic wooden sailboat. She was born in the heart of Tasmania back in 1969. With her eye-sweet lines and irresistible charm, Sarah Ann has captured the hearts of many, including ours. Our mission here is simple yet ambitious. We're embarking on a restoration venture, breathing new life into this timeless beauty. And trust me, every moment of this process will be documented and shared with you. So buckle up, my friends, as we prepare Sarah Ann for a series of thrilling YouTube sailing adventures in Tasmania's sheltered bays, rivers and lakes. Picture yourself aboard Sarah Ann, gliding through crystal clear waters, surrounded by the tranquility of nature. Together we'll uncover hidden gems, sharing her intriguing story and creating memories that will last a lifetime. But here's where you come in. I need your engagement to make this voyage truly unforgettable. If you're as captivated by classic wooden boats as I am, then I invite you to join our community of passionate sailors. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so that you never miss a single adventure. And don't forget to share the love with fellow sailors who appreciate the art of restoration and the allure of the open sea. I'd love to hear your thoughts and stories and insights. Drop a comment below and let's spark a conversation. Share your own experiences, offer suggestions, or simply say ahoy. Our channel thrives on your engagement, and together we'll create a vibrant community that celebrates the spirit of exploration and the beauty of wooden boats. The winds are calling, and Sarah Ann eagerly awaits her first splash after languishing in a shed for the past 12 years. Until next time, stay tuned, stay passionate, and fair winds, my friends. I just had a bit of a fright when I was starting up the engine. I only had it started a few times, and all of a sudden water started pouring out in quite significant amounts through the bunghole, through the drain in the boat. And I thought, where on earth can that be coming from? So I had the intake pipe just into the bucket, and I couldn't think where it could possibly be coming from to be able to get back out into the boat. Something serious going on with the motor. And then this is what I discovered. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. So why did I put my battery in a box? You'd think it'd be perfectly safe from the elements sitting underneath the cockpit floor, but normally I would have mounted this battery much further forward in the boat if I could have, but I needed to get it close to the motor to cut down on the run of cables there. So I moved it underneath the cockpit floor. Now it has the disadvantage that it moves the ballast aft, but the boat is under ballasted overall, so I can compensate that for a little bit more ballast in the front of the boat. So I'm always so grateful for comments that people make on the channel that help me through what is for me a relatively new area. I'm not an electrician, I'm not a mechanic, I'm just bumbling along, finding my way, and eventually making a lot of mistakes, failing forward, as a friend of mine said, and eventually ending up with the right result. So what was pointed out to me was that where the battery is installed, right next to the propeller shaft, if the stern gland was to leak for some reason, it was to spray water into that area underneath the cockpit floor, the salt water could potentially fry my battery and all my electronics, and then where would I be? Well, fortunately there is a hand crank which would get me out of trouble. Nevertheless, if she does take on water, and I hope that she won't take on too much, she's a wooden boat, so she's bound to take on a little bit here and there, but if she takes on any significant amount of water, the propeller shaft will be the first thing to go under. The flexible connector is quite large in diameter, and that is going to flick the water up, and it's just going to go all over the battery. So I decided to put the battery in a box. Now this is the box that I had when I had this battery installed in my truck on the way down from Queensland. This is the battery box that I was using. So it's got a number of different outlets, a couple of nice Anderson sockets there, 50 amp Anderson sockets, and I've beefed up the wiring to these terminals inside so that again I don't get any point of restriction as far as the flow of electricity for cranking the battery. But it's a dual purpose battery. It's a dual purpose deep cycle AGM battery. So I'll just point out a couple of features that it has here, which some I can use and some I can't. These two Anderson plugs sit up that little bit too high there and they come into contact with the cockpit floor. There's also an old-fashioned 12-volt socket there. Unfortunately these ones, along with the voltage meter, can't be used where they are. So I'll be taking those out and then sealing up those holes. So it's got a nice strap around there that I can use for securing it to the boat once I've finished building connections, and comes off like this. And you can see here the cables which I've well and truly upsized. Here's all the sockets and instrumentation that comes with the battery box. So I'm going to disconnect all that and then I'll salvage that. I'll be able to use it somewhere else in the boat. So for the $69 that I paid for that entire box, I've got myself a USB 12-volt cigarette lighter socket and a digital voltage meter, which I can set up as a nice little panel with a nice wooden panel. I'm planning to use that piece of King Billy plywood that I spoke about earlier to do that. If you're new to working with Anderson plugs, there's a little trick here. If you want to take out the wires, you just there's a spring beside the connecting piece, and you just push that spring down and the plug pops off. So now by taking those Anderson plugs off there, I can pull these out, recycle the grommets, and then relocate them. Pop those Anderson plugs on there, which directs the cables down and out of the way and around and back into the cabin of the boat. I'm going to seal all these holes with some tape of some sort, and someone out there with some wisdom on that subject might be able to recommend the best kind of tape for a permanent repair like that. These ones are a bit of a tight fit and I might lose a few wires. So as Paul Hogan would say, now that's a crimping tool. It's 780 ccas, which is something to do with how many camels you can fit in the back of your utility. Dual purpose, starting and semi-cycling, because it's going to be used as a cranking battery and a house battery. I know that's not ideal, but I have got a hand crank if I ever manage to flatten it. One thing I do know about it is it's extremely heavy. So everything's the right way around now. I've got the Anderson plugs here which are facing the front of the boat, and can connect a couple of cables there. One is going to be used for solar power or charging, so I'll have an Anderson plug on the end of my charger and also on the solar panel, and the other one will be powering everything else in the boat. So there'll be three forms of charging through this Anderson plug here. You can remove and replace as required. There'll be a regulated charge that's coming from the generator itself. Pull that out. There will be the ability to charge it using the AC charger from home. Being a trailer sailor, I can do that. Pull that out. And whilst I'm on the water, should I be able to get out there for a few days, which I'm hoping to, there'll be a solar panel, and I can also plug that in